years?
He's grown man, a lot, man. Just like you see his confidence, you see him believing in himself, you see the fact that he's just constantly maturing as a father and as a man. That's what you really want to see as an individual, that he's not staying in the same space at the same time. He's constantly growing and evolving.
Hey, Derek, how different was this training camp than others, or was there any change? Like, how different was it?
I think that it was a good training camp. It was different because we had two really good fighters in the gym. Two really good fighters, two really good counter punches. And that's really what Ugas does a lot of. We had two really good guys who were going to push him. I mean, 14 and 15 rounds. So it's good, man.
Derek, some people expecting Ugas to fight in that style where he's inviting Errol to the center of the ring. Is that what you're expecting? And if that's what their game plan is that a miscalculation, trying to fight Errol like that?
No, I think that Ugas is going to fight the best fight for himself. We have certain aspects of the ring. I'm in the middle. Sometimes I'm going after him. Sometimes I'm going backing up, trying to lure him in. So it's like everything he's doing is something that we went over. We refreshed him to where maybe we're in the middle of the ring. Maybe I'm going after Errol when he's being aggressive. Maybe he's trying to lure Errol in, so he's trying to, so it's like, so no different than what he was saying, like we see Errol doing whatever, double jab, this, whatever. It's no different from us watching him, seeing exactly what he does in the punches that he throws.
If he's staying in the pocket all night, though, is the power gonna? If he's gonna stay in the pocket with Errol all night,
it's not gonna make the 12 rounds. It's not gonna make, like I've seen him sport big guys and shoot those shots, and then 2 rounds are depleted. So if that's what he wants to do, it won't make it to the 12 rounds.
Hey coach, he says he's a better fighter since fighting Danny Garcia. How have you seen him be a better fighter since fighting Danny Garcia?
I mean, it's like he's had a longer time to prepare, because before then we were working through his ailments and his angst and his woes, his soreness, but now he doesn't have those issues. So that's where, now you come with fresh. So on the fresh plate, so it's not like he's a new guy, but he's not the guy who was in pain, and not the guy who was hurting, not the guy who was aching. So you didn't have to hold back. You can just step up. From day one, he was already ready to go.
So does that make that alone make this a much better, a much more effective training camp when there's nothing from the past that you have to deal with?
Yeah, without a doubt. And he shows he's very strong, he's very physical, he's very, you want to see him, he's very strong.
Talk about the resiliency that he's shown, that you've seen in him from what was that, 15th or the accident to today? Right. Talk about that resiliency for him to come back from that.
Well, really, it's amazing to see it, because even when he was in the Pacquiao training camp, when he injured his eye, he still wanted to fight. That was the motivation and dedication of himself to say, I worked so hard, I'm going to take the fight. But then he said, in the hindsight, when he looked back, he said, maybe I shouldn't have been thinking like that. Which is okay, because that's the fighter within him. But he's built from that. He took a little time off from the surgery. From the time they approved him to work out, he's been in the gym.
Hey, have you ever worked with a fighter before with coming off an eye injury? And if so, what did you learn? Like, what did you learn in the process about how to train? Okay, so what did you learn about, how did it change your training strategy?
Nothing. Because it was like when he came back, he didn't have an eye injury. So he had the eye injury at that particular moment. After that, he worked through it. They approved him. And even before, when they approved him to spar, I just waited a month to let him spar anyway. I just wanted to see a little bit, give him a little bit more time, and ease through the pain or whatever, and the eye injury, and be fresh.
You heard some sparring partners saying that Errol is hitting harder than he's ever hit before. Right. Is that a testament to his nutrition, focus, or what is it? What's different?
Technique. More the technique and more the fortitude and the desire to be great.
Coach James, before the Porter fight, I asked you, I said, are you and Errol the best duo, like Phil and Kobe? I don't quite remember your response, but today Errol told me he's more like Tim Duncan, so that makes you Greg Popovich.
I like Popovich's perspective also.
What'd you say?
I like his perspective because he stands up for what's right, and he speaks from black causes. In America, nobody else will say anything, like it doesn't even exist. Greg Popovich is the guy who says, no, this is wrong, that's wrong, because people see things wrong, but they don't say anything, they don't have the heart to say anything. But he's the guy that said, listen, I'm going to say what I want, and he's been saying enough for that, and I like that. So I'll be a Pop.
Duncan and Popovich.
Right, like
hey, Coach, we got a couple of good fights coming up, man. What do you think about Haney and Kambosos, man?
I never seen Kambosos fight before, and I've seen Haney fight once or twice, so I don't know.
How about Tank versus Rollies?
I'm a Tank Davis fan. I love Tank Davis. I love his style. I love his tenacity. I talked to this coach last night. I love his whole situation.
Okay.
Derek James, I got a question unrelated to boxing.
Right.
Totally unrelated to boxing. You saw what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Right.
Do you got any strategy, any tactics for Will Smith's right hand? Did you help him? Did you critique that at all?
That's an ill question because let me tell you why. Because I think that it's sad that he did that to him. You know, Chris Rock, I saw like where he's been bullied his whole life or whatever. So it's sad for that to even go through that. And I mean, I think it's even sadder that Will Smith lost it because he wasn't in control of himself when he did that. Even though it did take a long time to walk that long walk.
He had a lot of time
to think about it. He had a
it.
long way to walk back and walk of shame also. So I think that it's sad for both of those guys, because both of those guys are basically the same guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and he says like the sorrow, he saw his mother be beaten, this and that. Chris Rock been bullied and beat up the whole time. So I think it's very sad to see something like that. I mean, and it was just like two guys in pain, you know, dealing with their pain in front of the whole world, which is very sad.
You care to reach out to Will to talk to him and give him some confidence, boost his morale up a little bit?
Hey, listen, I just think that you gotta sit at that red table a little bit more. You know what I mean? 'Cause really,
No, he don't need to sit at the table anymore.
No. I'm just saying, like with his wife, man, they do a lot of therapy. They do a lot of talking. I think that's what it's gonna take, because it's more therapy than anything therapeutic.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that he walked in the building a star. He walked out of the building insane. So you think about, and he's been able to maintain that control himself the whole time. But that time, I mean, it's like he couldn't control it, so very unfortunate.
Hey, Coach, I got another one for you, Coach.
I
I just say one more.
I got one for you. So, we know trainers train, right?
Right.
But you're in phenomenal shape. Some trainers say I would never ask my fighter to do something I would never do. I know some people that will put some money on you if it ever came to a trainer versus trainer battle. What you think about that?
They might work out all the time. I didn't get to run this morning, but I did go walking. So it's like, I mean, I'm always working, man. I think that everybody's life is different. And this is different. I always wanted to be in shape. I was heavier. But I feel like this, if you can get to a point in life that you can never imagine, like the one trainer of the year, Sports Illustrated or Green Magazine, something so small as controlling what you eat, it's easy. Because you can get somewhere you can't imagine. And that's what I use for my motivation to be able to attain what I want to attain. I work out less, I still work out than I did when I was heavier, 45 pounds heavier.
We can tell you very sharp on the pads, everything. We can tell.
Yeah, I just want to ask about one last fight. Shakur Stevens.
Appreciate you.
Shakur Stevens and Oscar Valdez.
Shakur Stevens. Without a doubt, Shakur. Too athletic, jab is too good. I mean, we're not saying he won't get hit. We're saying that Valdez is not a real skilled fighter. He's a tough guy. I mean, I think that won't work with him. It won't work with Shakur Stevenson at all.
When you see a fighter like Shakur, does he? I'm gonna ask you a question. A fighter like Shakur that may excite you. How do you reach out to him? Do you just call him, hey, I want to work with you? Is there any fighter that you want to work with?
I'm good, man. I'm comfortable. And I don't like the word comfortable, but I'm okay with my guys.
Okay.
And I still work a full-time job, so I'm not going to take it on.
You're not taking nothing on?
No, man.
Man, I need to work on my right hand, coach.
Hey, man, it's over.
Can we just get a Charlo up? Everything good in camp with Jermell Charlo?
Good.
Just because, you know, people are like, the people start thinking the Joanne Guzman stuff, and if there's...
No, man, he's an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, man, thanks.
Last one. Mac Engel again. Derek, this is for you. In your opinion, Errol looks pretty comfortable at the weight he's at right now. How much bigger do you think he could go and still be as effective as he is right now at this particular weight? Much more, or is this about it?
Well, I think he can go up to wherever he wants to go. I think he's very comfortable. We spar heavyweights on a consistent basis. That's one of the guys we spar with. You know, we spar heavyweights all the time. So I think that he's very physical as a fighter. And he can fight either weight. He can fight up to 160 or maybe even higher. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do. I'm just saying that's what he'd probably be comfortable at that, because we're comfortable with been in the ring with bigger guys all the time.
Wait, one more.
Hey, Errol. Till before we start Telegram, you fought a few times here. How comfortable are you fighting at A&T Stadium? And I think if you won more titles than the Cowboys have won here, because anything
Hey,
you can do
chill out.
is this your house now? And anything you can do to rub off on the Cowboys?
Chill out now. But yeah, this is my house. This is my hometown. Love the Cowboys to death. Love the AT&T Stadium. I appreciate them giving me the hospitality and making this my home. And come Saturday night, I'm gonna win another championship for the Dallas Cowboys. So let's do it.
Folks, there you have it. Champion versus champion. Daring to be great. You hear them both say their ultimate goal is to be the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. It would be the first in his 4-belt era. It all comes your way Saturday, Showtime, pay-per-view, 9 o'clock Eastern time. That is 6 o'clock Pacific time. And then the night starts even before that on Showtime Championship Boxing at 7 o'clock Eastern. That is 4 o'clock Pacific time with 2 fights there. Do not miss it as you have champion versus champion in the main event. Want to thank everybody for coming out. Let's get a face-off.
Errol said this, and I want to read it to you, because the last time we saw him was against Danny Garcia.
Right.
He said, quote, "I wasn't right at all against Danny. Maybe 80 to 75%.
Yeah.
I could write a book about my training camp. A lot happened for that fight. What happened?"
Well, I don't know what happened, but I mean, it'll be in my book. Well, we can't talk about, but listen, put it like this. He was about, I think it was less than that. I think it could have been like 40, 50%. That's what I believe in fighting Danny Garcia. So I think that, and he, great strategy, great game plan, great fight. He implemented, he did everything he needed to do, but I think that in this fight, everything is great. And I say that it's just conditioning, all the other things are great. And that Garcia fight, you know, it was some stuff down the line, but he's good though. He's great. Nothing to talk about.
That fight with Danny Garcia was 14 months after the car accident, right? It's going to be basically nearly a year and a half since we've last seen Errol in the ring, when he steps in the ring against Ugas, plus coming off eye surgery. Why should we believe then that we're going to see the best of Errol Spence?
I think that you always have to, people are always skeptical of every time I tell them, like even for the Danny Garcia fight, every interview I did, I told them, listen, man, he's back to where he was before. They didn't believe me. They thought I was lying. Like, why would you just call me a liar? You hear all the reporters, but then this time, it's an eye injury. It's far less damaging than a car accident, right? And he's been in the gym for like